Jeff got the juice, keep the show on fire. Josh brings the news straight from the source with no desire. The judge, our wise advisor, keeps us in line. Fresh from the comic shop, showcase your design. Ask Joe the comic book ninja for insights to explore. The popcorn gets to know you from straight to the core. I guess out to think, cause we make some freaks. So much more to discover, this show's a hit. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. Anything can happen on a comic book canon. So let's start.
We're late! Joe, that's definitely your fault this time around, so apologize, everybody.
According to the chat, it's your fault because you were...
how much do they know about what my day was like? How much do they know?
Well, they know that you secured your tickets to Furry-Con.
Oh, is that so? Actually.
That's what the chat says. I guess you didn't read the chat.
Well, I was actually going to play this a little bit later. Not play it, but just show y'all a little something. This is a tease for an upcoming,
oh my God,
an upcoming segment that we do have. So this is actually proof that Joe did make it to Furry-Con 2020 this year.
How did you put that together so
I
fast?
got this from Naomi, okay? She will explain everything in her new comic book day pick of the week. I'm so glad that this was just a beautiful, perfect type of segue because you did not expect it. So everybody, please enjoy Joe at Furry-Con. We will definitely be getting that up on the socials this week as well. Joe, why the fox with the flashy vest? And
I'm so shocked. I literally put that Furry-Con thing in the chat like 8 or 9 minutes ago. I don't know how you made this so quickly.
You reap what you sow, Joseph. You reap what you sow. Well
Speaking
done.
of reaping what you sow, we want to remind you all that this episode of Comic Book Canon is brought to you by the great and powerful Slab Decks. For all your slab cleaning, erectile dysfunction, and low T needs, also restores hair loss and might make you luckier at winning on scratch-offs.
Oh, that's a new one. I had no idea about that.
Yep.
That's fantastic.
Recently discovered.
Here's the deal. We are full on in summertime. As you can see, the way I'm dressed right now, it's the Black Hat Brigade we got going on. Very excited, very happy to be here tonight. July the 13th, Comic Book Canon, episode 231. With episode 231, with the episode, there's always a featured episode issue. But guess what? Guess what, Joe?
Tell me what.
I didn't put it in. I was scrambling. That's part of the reason you were late today. So anyways, with that said, why don't we just get into the news with our Adam Schefter of the Comic Book Canon. What's his name?
I believe his name is The Big Beef.
Josh delivers the news and rumors.
Joshua, how's your Sunday going today?
Beefy. Wait, hold on, Josh.
Indeed.
I'm disappointed that you're not wearing a black backwards hat because that is, of course, the official look.
Black Hat Brigade.
What is going on here?
Naomi, you were brought in. I'm sorry. Go back to your hole.
Ooh. She'll be back for sure.
She'll be back.
But with the Big Beef comes the big news of the week, and we also have a new image for the Big Beef himself. I have no idea why the bee. I actually asked AI.
Why is it a bee?
I
thought it was the Big Beef, not the Big B.
Yeah, well, I actually like this bee theme going on that we have. It makes absolutely no sense, which makes it even better, right, Joe?
The Big Beef. I've been thinking about the Big Beef all week.
Oh, that's scary.
Wow.
With the Big Beef comes the big news, as we said before. So why don't we get into it? Joshua.
Marvel Studios is reportedly developing a continuation to Werewolf by Night, and you know what? I say do it. It was a excellent, what do they call it? A special presentation or something like that. Whatever they're doing, just like they're doing for Punisher, I say go for it. I loved it, enjoyed it, and I'm not big on the horror aspect into all that stuff, but yeah, let's see it.
For sure. I loved Werewolf by Night. I'm sure Joseph did, but before we get to his words, we forgot to remind you we are the most popular show ever in the history of shows. So please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We know you have. But anyways, go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, y'all know me. Y'all know that I love the horror stuff, Bronze Age horror from Marvel, of course. And I loved the Werewolf by Night. I almost said series. It was, just a one-shot special. I may have watched it like an upwards of like 7 or 8 times at this point, showing it to other people, rewatching it. It's been almost 3 years. It came out in October.
What?
Yeah, October of 2022.
Oh,
it was I actually thought it was 2023 until recently someone had mentioned it's been almost 3 years since that. So has been a while. They kind of, I'm sure it had to do with the writer's strike and everything, and the just the whole disarray of everything that came from the pandemic and the writer's strike. Unfortunate timing, but hopefully they're able to pick up on this. And as we've started to get some other horror and horror related characters in the MCU, it's definitely a great time to flesh out this. And, maybe we'll see a Legion of Monsters team or a Midnight Suns team, or, just other horror aspects in the Marvel universe.
100%. They also teased a lot of, not teased, actually. There are a lot of, Elsa Bloodstone was in it. You had, man thing in it as well.
Yep.
Wow.
You love
so oh God, I can't. Let's just remind everybody about your Furry-Con fetish. But with that said, we're gonna move on. There will be a Superman review, as you surmise probably from the thumbnail we had on there. So we'll get to that at the end of the news. Mr. Schefter, Mr. Beef, Mr. Joshua, what's next?
So yeah, we kind of gotten our first look at some cast members from the Avengers Doomsday. Ewan Moss, Danny Ramirez, and Wyatt Russell. So U.S. Soldier, The Thing, and Falcon. It's interesting to note that this is real. This is not CGI or AI or anything. And I'm really looking at the background, and I'm kind of excited about this. So, we're going to get to see 3 different characters playing in Doomsday. Obviously, we had a huge bunch of announcements for, it was like a 7-hour trailer of casting announcement with over, I think, 26 or 27 members confirmed for Doomsday, with more to come. But I'm really looking forward to this. And, Doomsday, however, I'm hearing is in a bit of a pickle. I have heard recently that they do not have a 3rd act yet. Still done, completed. They're figuring it out. I also just heard that their second unit director was just fired. They were not happy with the second unit director, and they're looking to replace him as well. So Doomsday may potentially be pushed back a little bit more, but I still have faith in the brothers. God, I'm forgetting the names.
Russo brothers.
I don't know why I would say Wyatt, but the Russo brothers. So we'll see how this plans out. But expect some behind the scenes pictures and cast members as they continue filming the film.
Oh, Caleb, I will not fight you on this. He is horrible, by the way. And not as Superman, but just as a human being. Yeah.
Dude,
he's terrible. Former alumnus Chris Killian almost got into a fight with him.
Nice.
He may have told that story on the canon. I can't remember. But anyways, moving on. What do we have next? Joshua.
So a Silver Surfer project is reportedly in development at Marvel Studios. Now, we know we're getting the female version, obviously, in Fantastic Four, but I have heard that there are other other Silver Surfers out there. So whether we get a continuation of this character in the future, or maybe we'll get a team-up movie, between other ones, we'll have to see. But hey, I'm open for it. I know we're trying to get rid of that bad taste from the 2007 film, I think it was, Rise of the Silver Surfers. So
with the Misty
we'll see what happens.
Or the Fog Galactus, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I'm stoked about this. I really love the character of Silver Surfer, and fun fact, Stan Lee's favorite character that he created was Silver Surfer. That's awesome. That's like the biggest stamp of approval that you can get over Spider-Man, over the X-Men, over phenomenal villains that he fleshed out. Silver Surfer is his favorite character. That being said, I do think that this is going to be the Norrin Rad male version of Silver Surfer. Julia Gardner, I'm stoked to see this. But people want Norrin Radd, realistically. And as we know, this Fantastic Four movie, I almost said Final Fantasy. Been playing way too much Magic the Gathering recently. This Fantastic Four movie is definitely not on Earth 616. It definitely takes place in another universe. Therefore, it makes sense for, some stuff to transfer over, some stuff to not. And they could easily, reintroduce a new Silver Surfer, aka Norrin Radd, in this, situation.
I'm gonna comment on this first, but I first want to say hello to my wife, Guyana Brightlight, aka Alicia, in the house. I don't. Naomi doesn't know this because she can't hear 30 or 50 miles away, but she watched your new comic book day, and she liked everything you had going on there. Just letting you know, Naomi. That's just.
Oh, I'm on. Hey, sorry.
She got kicked off for not knowing she was on. Moving on. All right. So yeah, I would love to see a Silver Surfer project. Love that. That's a nice fact right there. This was Stan Lee's favorite character. Can you imagine the weight of all of the worlds destroyed on that man's shoulders or woman's shoulders in this film? So I would love to see a Silver Surfer project because that character is so complex, being chosen as the Herald, having his world destroyed, having to go herald into other worlds that he knows are going to be destroyed, only to turn around on Galactus and become kind of his own character. Just fantastic. There's so much you can do and draw from that. So I'm very excited about that. Sorry, Joshua, we're holding things up.
I'm just going to say that picture of her looks pretty good. Can you send that to me later after the show?
Josh.
Oh, God.
Moving on.
Oh God.
Look at Raising Elm already asking questions for Ask Joe and Jeff and Josh and Naomi and maybe Dan. All right, moving on. What do we got, Joshua?
Yeah, so from here on out, we're all DC news. So, Superman released over the weekend. We will get to the review in a little bit, but a lot of info is coming out. James Gunn has done some press tours, obviously. David Zalkaz or
Zaslav.
Yeah, whatever.
Horrible.
I call him douche just because we've had some stuff. He's been causing issues. Anyway, DC's goal is to reestablish all of its best-known characters and unite them in a new Justice League movie. Obviously, that's the 10-year plan. I'm not surprised. The output goal is for each year will be 2 live-action films, multiple live-action shows, at least 2 a year, and then 1 animated show, all in 1 year. So they're kind of going to go what Marvel was doing. Marvel is now backtracking on that. I think Marvel was doing two movies and 1 show a year, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see how the output goes. We know next year that we are going to be getting Clayface, Supergirl. That will be our 2 live-action movies. Lanterns, which will be our live-action show. And then I don't know if we're getting an animated show next year or not. We'll have to see. So I'm all aboard on this, man. We'll talk about it in the review for Superman, but I'm very hopeful for the new DCU, and I can't wait to see this universe play out.
The least DC guy, part of this canon crew, please speak next.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll get to the review soon, but I really liked Superman. Thought it was a solid start. And not only that, but they've got some cool stuff on the agenda. I do like the fact that they're going to try to ramp up a little bit, 2 movies a year. We only have really Superman this year, but 2 movies is good. Marvel was putting out 4 for a while, and it was daunting. It was daunting, especially for the casual fan. So I think 2 movies a year is a really nice, strong way to move things forward. And of course, the television series and the animated series are a great way to kind of segue that, give you a little taste in between, maybe develop some characters, maybe do some, building to what's going to happen in the films with, regarding a big bad or, a special event or something like that.
And that's definitely the way to go because it created with Superman coming out, it was an event. It felt like an event to me. I'd like to hear from you all during our reviews, but keeping it less is more, I think, is the way to go. us as fans, we want to consume this content day and night, but at the same time, you can only take in so much.
Yeah.
And also for the creators too, they can only output so much in terms of like not diluting what they put out there. And I think we saw a little bit of that with the MCU. I'm not as hard on them as most people are, but it was definitely less of what they put out in terms of quality. So I'm all on board with this plan. I can't wait, especially for Lanterns. That can't come here soon enough. But again, with Marvel, we still have Fantastic Four. We have Wonder Man. What else is coming out, Josh?
I think that's it. Those are the last 2 projects for the year. You got Wonder Man coming out in December, Fantastic Four coming out in a few weeks, and then from there on out, the next thing we're going to probably see, rumor is that I think Born Again Season 2 is coming out again, maybe March of next year, and then July is supposed to be Spider-Man, and then Doomsday later that year. So we'll see. Oh, Vision Quest is coming out next year too. So yeah.
It's a lot. Actually, and also if you combine both of these universes on top of other properties too, it's still a lot to consume for being, for us. So very excited about that. Joshua, what do we have next?
Yeah, so James Gunn is reportedly considering TV spinoffs for Mr. Terrific and Jimmy Olsen. And let me tell you something. Mr. Terrific, I would love to see a spinoff show on him. This would be in the review, but he did a terrific job in the film, I thought. And then honestly, Jimmy, I would love to see like a show that is kind of set like, Superman's pal from the comics. And I think, you could have Jimmy at the Daily Planet. You can flesh out the crew of the planet a little bit more. Maybe have, obviously, Clark and Lois show up in some of the episodes and help out. And really, you could build out the world of Metropolis. And, so we'll have to see what happens. Like I said, I think Gunn right now, while he's looking at things and building things out, we might end up getting things too. And if we do, I think it would be a good thing for the DCU.
For sure. Joseph.
Yeah, I'll say this. Mr. Terrific upstage Superman. He was the best part of the movie, in my opinion. This is a character that I know little to nothing about. So for me to be like hooked on this character already, that's a really good sign. Really hope he gets a spinoff. And Jimmy Olsen, while being entirely punchable, I agree with Chris. He definitely did a great job, and the character added a lot of comic relief, especially with his interaction with can't remember her name, but not important here. Definitely go see this movie if you haven't yet.
I hope that wasn't a spoiler too.
It wasn't. No.
Again, I would be all in on these series right here. Mr. Terrific was fantastic. I'd like to see him fleshed out a little bit more. See what he does during his free time as well. Also, Jimmy with his free time. I mean, I don't want to say anything right now, but he was phenomenal. I love that actor. He was in the HBO show. It was great. I promise you that. But he's really good actor. God, why can I not remember? Somebody tell us in the comments. It's with Anyways, so I would love to see more from these characters. We're definitely getting more Mr. Terrific, no doubt about that. Whether it be in a Justice League or some other films that can't wait. It just all around can't wait for this. So, all right, Joshua, what do we got next? Oh, by the way, timeout. I love this. People are already starting to ask questions for Ask Joe, which has become more of a Cannon Crew segment. But that punk rock song, it just doesn't get any better than that. So we won't rename it, right, Joe?
No.
Nah, I mean, he's got the ego too, and he would probably walk off if we did.
Contractually obligated to have my name in the segment.
Yeah, so it's still Ask Joe, and the crew. Joe and the crew, actually, not bad. Moving on. What do we have next, Joshua?
Yeah, so do you want to jump into the review? Or should we talk about the box office performance?
Talk about the box office first.
Yeah, so Superman actually, in my opinion, did good. They opened up to $123 million domestically over the 3-day weekend. It is the first superhero film to cross over 100 million in domestic since Deadpool and Wolverine, which was 211 million, and is currently sitting at 217 million worldwide at the box office. Reportedly, the budget was only 225 million. I think with 100 million plus added on due to the marketing campaign.
That's accurate.
But still, this movie is doing good. A lot of people, well, I say a lot of people. There's some people that are saying that since this movie didn't make $1 billion on the 3-day out, that it's like an absolute flop. However, name one movie in history that's ever done it. Nothing has done that. I mean, it took Endgame a couple weeks to make $1 billion, if I'm not mistaken. So we're off to a great start. And I honestly think as the weeks go on, Fantastic Four might chop it down a little bit, but we'll see what happens with the box office on this one. Looks good so far, though.
It does. And, we're talking 66%. Joe, you're better at numbers than I am, but this is about 66% of the overall budget, which you would include the production budget and marketing. Not bad for the first weekend, I would have to say. Now, there will be a drop off next weekend. I would say that despite the ginormous numbers of the Snyder crew, right? The Snyder Bros. They really didn't eat that much into the box office, did they, Josh?
Man, the problem is, there was a campaign going on about keep your wallets closed. I actually saw some videos where some of the Schneider Bros went to the movie theater, showed up, paid a ticket, sat down in Superman, and then pulled out their phone and started watching Man of Steel while they were in the audience. And I don't know how to, like, it's like, okay, I guess thank you for buying the ticket. I don't know what you're proving. But honestly, this is sitting at a 82% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes, and I think in 95% with the audience.
Yeah.
And I don't care about audience and critic scores, honestly. Some people do. They're like, oh, but I've seen movies that everybody hates that I love. So my opinion is go out, watch it, form your own opinion on it. I thought it was great. And I am I still am a Schneider fan, I guess you could say. I did enjoy Man of Steel. I did like Batman versus Superman and his cut of Justice League. But look, man, I just want good DC content, and we're going on that track, and we'll talk about that in a review. But like we said, box office is strong. It's looking good. And, even David put out a statement today that they're happy with the results so far. It's looking good. And they're looking forward to the 10-year plan. So we'll see how everything plays out.
All right. So this is a nice segue to bring in the rest of the Canon crew in right now. Josh, you're going to get first dibs on the review. Excuse me?
I said yes. I was getting hyped up because...
Oh, I thought Joe was giving me because we have a Joe.
Oh. This episode of Comic Book Canon is brought to you by Slabdex. For all your slab cleaning needs, trust Slabdex, because when you protect grails, you don't clean with retail.
Well done, Josh. That voice. Sultry.
I'm Joe. Josh is up in the.
Well, Josh is doing well too. Naomi, we're going to bring you in as well as the judge himself. Now, the judge, we don't know if you've seen it yet because you've been incommunicado. Obviously, you have a ton of cases, I'm sure, that on your desk and trying to get through all of that during this holiday season as well, which is probably, or this summer season as well, which is probably really difficult to do. So, with that said, we're going to hold it. Well, actually, have you seen it, Judge?
I have not. Okay.
So you can sit here and judge our judge.
Guy out of here.
Well, but what I've seen, though, seriously, is a number of very, very good reviews. So congratulations to James Gunn. He did it. He had to do this. He had to do this right. He had to please everyone, make some money. That was the whole bottom line of doing this, and he has succeeded. I'm looking forward to seeing this. I'll try to get this done by this week. I just didn't have a chance from when it opened. When was it? Thursday till today. So, but I will. But again, huge congratulations to James Gunn.
We completely understand. That's very kind of you because you were skeptical, but we can't wait to hear your review. Hopefully next week, Joshua, you're starting. You're kicking the reviews off right now. Go.
Hope. This movie was man. this movie felt so good going in. I went in Tuesday night, saw it in the Amazon Prime early screenings, and honestly, this was a comic book movie come to life. This was, like taking the pages out of All-Star Superman or Superman for All Seasons and putting it on the big screen. And there's a particular scene that's not really a spoiler, but you see it in the trailer, and it's when Clark is talking to Pa Kent, and they have a great scene together. And there's quite a few emotional scenes in here, but that scene hit me the hardest because it reminds me of me and my dad when he was still with us and stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a 31-year-old male, and I actually teared up a little bit in theaters. And there was another scene that involved Crypto, where that Clark was talking about him and kind of got me emotional, hit me in the guts. But this scene, this movie had it all. It had emotion, it had action. I thought the comedy was good. Some say it was overpowered. This is like the less comedy in a James Gunn film I've ever seen. It's not like Guardians and anything like that. I thought it was very well done. I honestly felt like, David as Superman, he might be the best Superman we've ever had.
Ooh.
I mean, he's very high up there. Now, Clark, you don't get to see too much of him, but I dig it. I think he did a good job. Lois, honestly, Rachel killed it. She might be the best Lois Lane we ever had. And listen, Jeff, this is my review, so I don't care. And then, going on to Lex, I felt like Nicholas did a good job. I'm still undecided on him, but he's definitely up there, maybe as a top 3. We'll have to see what happens in the future. But rounding out the rest of the cast, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner. Dude killed it. I don't care what you say. Like, oh, well, Guy Gardner, man, he just looks stupid. He's got a ugly bow tie, haircut, and all of that. It's the comics. He is comic accurate. He did a great job. Mr. Terrific, honestly, think he stole the show from Superman himself. He has did great throughout, but he has a great scene halfway through the film, and I'm looking forward to more of that character. Hawkgirl, a bit of a letdown for me. She didn't have much to work with, but she did have a few scenes. I wish she would have gotten a little bit more love. We'll have to see, in the future what happens. And then, honestly, Crypto, man, the goodiest boy ever on screen. Honestly, every time he was there, it was good to laugh, and you had a good time. So, honestly, at the end of the day, this film for me is a solid 8 out of 10. I loved it. I'm probably going to go back and maybe see it again tomorrow for a second viewing. I'm definitely going to buy this on physical media and rewatch it. It is a live-action Superman Adventures. If you love Superman Adventures, you're going to love this. It's full of hope. And walking out of the theater, it makes you feel like you can take on the world and be your own superhero. 100%. That is my review.
This was about... For me, 85% of your review is spot on. But we're going to move on to Naomi next.
Naomi. Super liked it. I thought it was really good. I didn't grow up a huge Superman fan, so I was really looking forward to it, though, because I heard a lot of really good feedback on it, like a lot of like the little things that they were putting out every day, like on Instagram and stuff. I have to agree that like Hawkgirl, they didn't really do very well with her. I was kind of bummed with that because I did really like Hawkgirl growing up. And Nathan Fillion did great. I think that he was just the right amount of arrogant and funny and cool. I don't know if you guys noticed when they had like the birds coming up. I thought that was really funny. Just certain things like that. Crypto reminds me a lot of my cat Yoshi. So I kind of had like a huge love. I'm like, she doesn't do anything right ever, but you can't help but love her. But I have to I did not like whatever her name is, Mrs. Maisel as Lois. I'm kind of a hater, unfortunately.
Wow.
I know, I'm not a fan. Their chemistry was good. Like I thought the chemistry was great. Just was not a huge fan of her. And yeah, what else am I missing? Mr. Terrific was amazing. I think he was so cool. Like he's just very like stoic demeanor, was awesome. So yeah, I really liked him. But
I'm remembering
overall,
some Mr. Terrific lines in my head, and they just crack me up.
yeah, he was just so. But it like the delivery on it was so dry. It was so good, and I really like the aspects of like the humanity part of it. Oh, and by the way, what's his face that played Lex Luthor? Oh my God, he was so good. I'm just like, I hope he wins something for this because you hated him so much. And I think that's so important because I'm one of those people who kind of root for the bad guy half the time. Him, I was like, I hate him. I hate him so much. I do not want him to have any sort of win from any of it. And I think they did a great job with it, that they made him that hateable in that sense. So I think that was really good.
Joseph, you're up next.
All right, I loved the Mr. Terrific movie. It was phenomenal.
Oh wait, time out. Naomi, out of a score of 1 to 10, what do you give it?
Oh, I would probably say like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's my turn. Yeah, like I said before, Mr. Terrific, best part of the movie. I really thought that both Nicholas Hoult and Rachel, what's her last name? Brosnahan? Something like that?
Yeah, I think
something like that. I thought they did the best job, like skill wise, as far as acting. They did the most convincing role, which I'm surprised, Naomi. I'm surprised you didn't like her as Lois. I'm not a super pretty. I'm not. I think her actual portrayal was more convincing than anyone else. Like it didn't feel like she was acting. That being said, plot was solid. Now I will say something a little negative, and this is why I didn't give it a super high score. I give it a 7.0 white pages, which I think is what I gave Thunderbolts, which is a movie I really enjoyed. But the one thing I will say is we all were hoping that this movie would be 2025's Iron Man. That was kind of the goal. That is a lofty goal. I understand that is very, very hard to do. Iron Man kicked off the MCU. It pulled so many people into comic books, into the character of Iron Man, into the MCU, and kicked everything off. So I know that was a lofty goal. This was not it. I did not walk out of this feeling like I was walking out of Iron Man in 2008. I will say it got close. It got close to being, that solid. It felt more like when I walked out of Captain America and I was like, oh, that was a great movie, cool. Awesome. So, I am very excited though, because I thought it laid a really nice groundwork. It was a good to great movie that laid really solid. Paul, shut up. Naomi, let me tell you something about that. No, I thought it laid a really solid groundwork for the future, and I think that's the most important thing that this movie did. It wasn't Iron Man, but it leads us into a lot of other things, kind of like how Avengers worked in the MCU. When the first Avengers movie came out in 2012, it really laid the groundwork for things to flow from it. Thanos and development of the Avengers characters and bringing in more characters, developing Loki as this, is he a villain? Is he an anti-hero? Yada, yada. That laying of the groundwork is the most important thing that this Superman movie did. So for that reason, the movie itself, 7.0 white pages, solid film. Definitely will see it again, but more so I'm excited for what is to come.
All right. So overall, a positive review from all of us, except for the judge, who will see it maybe this week. Hopefully it's now going to be my turn. Okay. And I'm gonna talk a little bit here about some things and what it means to me. I know it all is about what it means to us, right? Like, Josh, you made some really good points, and I empathize with what you said because I'll explain. But before I do, Coco Loves Chevy, I'm just curious if this is a joke or if it's real. Because if it's real, I want some substance behind these comments. I really do. I thought Superman was the worst acting, casting, costumes, and script I have ever seen. I have to say that I don't know if this is facts from you, but if it is, would love to hear why.
Yeah, that's a wild take. Yeah, there were some things that I didn't like. Don't get me wrong, and the movie was a little slow to start. But saying that they were the worst of any of those things, that's, there's movies like Aquaman 2 and Catwoman, and even going over to Marvel, the
Madam Web.
Honestly, Madam Web wasn't even the worst one. Morbius. Ugh. Yeah, there's been so many bad comic book movies.
So yeah, Coco loves Chevy. I just had to delete one of your comments because it is a bit spoilery. So let's be careful about that. And we know that's just your opinion. Fine, that's fine.
Yeah,
I'd like to know why, because I'll tell you why, and I think everybody else here did a good job of saying why they liked the film. Okay, we understand it's not your Superman, but like, why is it not your Superman? Why don't you like this movie? So just if you give it a little meat to the opinion, because that's what we've all been doing here. And I believe this film it's so cliche to say this, and I'm going to get some eye rolls, but this movie was about hope and humanity. And I think James Gunn nailed it, because James Gunn always gives us the dirt, right? He gives us the funny and kind of gross and kind of childish humor that resonates with I know the Canon crew and a lot of you as well, but he gives the heart too. And for me, Superman to me is about me and my dad. I explained that, I think, last week. It was the first movie I went to. I went with my dad, and it was Superman. And obviously, superheroes are life to all of us, and that really had an impact on me. Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time, but Superman is up there for me. And with that, there were two moments in the film I cried. My stepdaughter, 11 years old, she's like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, and I had to admit I was, and she said, "Why?" I was like, "I'll tell you later." And the scene with the father did it for me as well, differently than you, Josh, because we all have different life. We've all traveled different paths in life. So, and I empathize with how you related to that. But Superman also started a chain for me where I would cry at the end of movies. I was 4, okay? So I would cry because they would end. And I'm not kidding you. And I can't believe I'm saying this to 15 million people, but I cried because it was over. It was ending. And I turned to Alicia and I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm crying. Anyway, so she loved it. But for those who think this movie is woke, I'm glad. I'm glad. Because, like, literally, this is who Superman has always been.
Yep.
It's about humanity and hope. And my light just went out. Maybe that's a sign of some sorts that I need to hurry up here. But there are so many moments in there where it's like, I'm just like you, right? I am just like you. And there are so many examples today where people are like, I am just like you, just wanting to be happy in life, right? I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I'm not trying to I'm just trying to make my life better, my family's life better, and this world a better place. And with that, I truly appreciated the film. I really loved the film. I did. I will say the first act, if I had to just judge or grade the first act, it was a 5 out of 10. But the last 2 acts were incredible for me. Incredible. So I'm giving this overall film an 8 out of 10 for sure. And I can't wait to see more of the DCU and what James Gunn brings to the table. Now,
I've got a question before you, if I could interrupt.
I was going to do this, Dan. I was going to give you the floor to ask any sort of questions you wanted to ask or follow up.
Sure. Thank you. I wrote asked this in the chat. It's sort of a twofold question for all of you that have seen it, and I have not. I've just seen a lot of previews and a lot of information from the people I watch on YouTube. They're all positive, all very positive. Since this is the reboot of the entire DCU, is this a worthy reboot? Because obviously this is going to expand from here. And having said that, I'm aware of some of the actors or players that are in there, including Green Lantern. This is also a preview for the Justice League. Would you have kept Guy Gardner in there? Because if I'm relaunching the DCU, that's kind of the last person I'd put in. I'd rather have Hal Jordan or what else did I say? Jon Stewart. Those two have been far better choices. So any comment along those lines, since you guys have seen that? Would you have replaced that Green Lantern character?
I would say that the way that they set up for the DCU is that they have so few characters that they introduced that it left so much room for so much more. And I liked that they kind of gave that focus to who they did. and how much focus to each person that they did. So I think that they did really well, because a lot of times you see like this introduction and they're just trying to introduce way too many people in way too little of a time. And it's like, well, this probably would have been better as a series. I don't think they did it with this. I think they did a really good job.
I want to jump in real quick, and exactly. I would say the same thing, but a Hal would take so much weight and so much away from Superman, right? Whereas a Guy Gardner, most of the mainstream doesn't know who Guy Gardner is, and I thought it was well done. I really thought it was well done, and I was thinking the same way that you were, Dan, but it worked. All of it worked for me. I will say I didn't criticize this, but this is a criticism. Hawkgirl was kind of lame. I definitely want to see less lameness from her. I want to see more Hawkgirl, but it was kind of lame. But other than that, I thought it did work with all of these characters for sure. And by the way, I do want to thank Coco Loves Chevy, because they did leave reasons why, and we appreciate that. Didn't know if you're trolling or what it was. And I have to say also, I enjoyed Man of Steel too. I did like Man of Steel. But this is, this blew Man of Steel away, in my opinion. Sorry. So Dan, I don't know if that answered your question. Maybe Josh, you want to jump in on Dan's question too. And by the way, like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We are the #1 live show of all time.
Let Joe go, because I'll go last, because I got some insight on why I think certain characters were introduced.
I mean, I think it made sense because, first of all, Hal and Jonathan are going to be in the Green Lantern show. We already knew that.
But it does. Tom, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. I think Dan's just talking from a story perspective, not a logistical perspective in terms of, they've already put Hal and
yeah, I'm getting to that.
That is correct.
John Stewart. Yeah. I'm sorry for I interrupted.
I was getting to that part. I was getting to that. The second half of the sentence was going to be that.
You just got mansplained.
Yeah. I'm going to mansplain to Jeff because he's a boy. Anyway, I think Calico Chris hit it on the head here. They needed a really good comedic character. You don't want to make Superman too jokey. He's not really like that in the comic books. And, Jimmy Olsen's only there some of the time because he's, a non-powered human, and he's only, in some scenes. But it made sense to have, a comedic relief character that is going to be in the battle scenes and things like that. And Guy Gardner filled that role absolutely perfectly. And he was honestly, probably after Mr. Terrific, probably my favorite part about the movie. Him and Lex were really like second to Mr. Terrific there. As far as going forward, they can do whatever the heck they want. It's Guy might show up in the Lantern show. We don't know.
It's a fact, actually. I'm going to interrupt again because I'm an asshole.
Go ahead.
It is a fact. Josh can confirm this, but Nathan Fillion actually said that he never has said so many F-bombs on a project before on Lantern. So that's exciting to see too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Unbelievable. So you just took what I was going to say, Jeff. Can we boot Jeff off? Can we just get
I'll do it myself.
All right. So we are going to get, Hale and John are going to be in Lanterns. We're going to get a lot of backstory on those two in that show. The Green Lanterns have been around for decades at this point. Technically, they're called the Justice Gang right now, which is Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific. They are on Earth just to kind of help out and do certain situations, yada yada. I do think, if you would have introduced Hale, it would have made no sense due to the fact that him and John are off doing different things that are probably going to be explained in the show coming out, like where were they at during the whole time. So I honestly feel like, Guy Gardner was the perfect fit for this, and they're going to have a lot of Lanterns probably show up in the DCU, which I'm excited to see anyway. So I felt like he was a good fit. And then the other part for your question, Dan, about is it felt like a worthy reset for the universe. I think it does. And I'm not going to, I can't talk spoilers, but there's a lot of Easter eggs in this film. And I'm going to say, a certain group of characters that they could introduce centuries before, or maybe in the 1920s, potentially show up.
Josh.
So, I'm just going to say that the DCU going forward, they have they set it up so they can go to the past, the future, the present. I think it's a worthily set up for a new universe, and I think you enjoy it, hopefully.
I will see it. I apologize for not having time, but I will have a full report this time next week.
And you can't apologize for apologizing because that did deserve an apology. So,
And I'm sorry for saying that I'm sorry.
No. You need to apologize for apologizing that you apologize.
I'm sorry that I didn't apologize for apologizing.
Anyways, right there, that's going to wrap up this whole segment, this whole news segment and review segment. We hope we've given you enough of our opinion, and we hope it doesn't affect your opinion either way to see it, not see it, or like it or not like it. So from there, we're going to end this news segment. We're going to move on. But before that, we have to run this video right here because we're contractually obligated to.
Just delivers the news and rumors.
All right, we're going to give everybody a breather, including us. Finally, the new Comic Book Day pick of the week is back. Naomi has picked a great book, in my opinion. Hopefully, you'll think so as well, too. And it is Superman themed. By the way, we're working on a theme song and an intro for Naomi's pick of the week. I just want to let Naomi, I added that suggestion in that you had. It works, trust me. But with that said, here's the no intro version of New Comic Day pick of the week.
What's up, my Canon crew? It's that time of week again where I tell you what I'm excited for next week. Keeping in the spirit with Superman, I'm gonna keep it in the family. Except it's gonna be a little furry this time. No, not those kind of furries. We don't talk about Joe's past. Talking about Crypto, the last dog of Krypton. This is issue number 1, so I'm really excited for the follow-up of issue number 2. If y'all haven't read it yet, it's about Crypto who accidentally gets launched into a rogue wormhole where he finds himself on the streets of Metropolis. But what's so crazy is that he ends up getting found and adapted by a young Lex Luthor. So I'm really interested in to see how this all plays out. I hope you guys enjoyed my pick for this week, and until next time, I will see you later. And don't tell Joe, but I hit his furry head so he can't go to Furry-Con this year. Loser.
He really is a loser, isn't he?
I'm so confused because I made a joke right before this show started about you going to Furry-Con, Jeff. And that was an off-the-head joke, but you guys apparently had planned something.
No, we didn't, actually. That's how quick we work. Naomi hit me up. Did you see that Furry-Con thing? I'm gonna do it real. I'm gonna put it in my new Comic Book Day pick. I was like, okay, I'm gonna create an image like this. Boom.
There's no way you did that 10 minutes, 5 minutes before the show started.
It was within minutes. In minutes. She had a different book. You had a different book, didn't you?
I had a couple different books, and I was like, let's go with this one. We're talking about a dog here, so let's keep that going.
I think I've been drinking too much Slab Decks. This is.
Oh, speaking of, by the way, it was a happy accident, but Joe.
Slab Decks for all your cleaning and slabbing and fiddling needs. Use Slab Decks to lubricate any surface you'd like, including your own skin flute.
Wait, you have your own Slab Decks. I think the judge finished his last week. So, all right.
Mine's full.
Moving on. By the way, Josh has named himself in
refills.
Wait, hold on. Let's add Josh here. Josh, did you AKA the Big Beef. My God.
The Big Beef!
You are so into yourself. It's disgusting, but also fun at the same time. Because look at what we got, the Big Beef right there.
It is the Big Beef.
It looks like a big turd pile.
It really does. And I would explain Josh. That's terrible. We are so mean to each other recently. All right. So before we move on to the next segment where you get to ask questions and we get to answer them as the Canon crew, but it's mainly Ask Joe. We're going to just say hello, but please get your questions in the chat. Please like and subscribe if you have not done so already. We got Nukes Comics in the house. Calico Chris Tattoo in the house. The Big Beef is here, everybody. Paul Bond is in the house, and he said, that's so great. I have no idea what he's talking about. Toonish Lurker is laughing in the house as well. I don't know why you've changed your name from Goonish to Toonish. I prefer Goonish. That's a really great name, but okay. We got Spud Comics. Theme of the week is furries. Got it. Time out. No, it's just Joe, who has never talked about his one of his other favorite hobbies.
What's your furry name? Can you please tell us
Yeah.
what your furry name is? Is it
Foxy Grandpa? I don't know.
I don't know,
That's
that's not
terrible.
glitzy enough.
Now
I
we'll
don't-
come up. Everybody, also please get in the
Yes.
chat what you think Joe's furry name should be, based off of this image right here. Again, it's some sort of a fox or something. Joe, yeah, I'm not sure where you got the
Foxy
costume.
fur.
Anyways, so we'll leave it to
Mr. Furry Bottoms.
Mr. Furry Pants.
What's up
what
with my sequin vest and bow tie?
Put
We
on
got
the Ritz.
Kova loves Chevy in the house. We got Nicole Schroeder in the house.
How about
First, we have-
furry decks?
What's happening here? I don't know. What?
Furry decks.
Okay, let's just say
Oh.
hello to people. We said Nicole Schroeder. We got a
Come on.
whole bunch of you people. Everybody get your questions in the chat. We'll get to answering that. Turd Ferguson. I love that. I love that.
No, I hate that.
Oh, wait, time out. The term goon took on a whole different meaning in the last couple years, and I didn't
Oh
want to-
yeah.
Yeah. So funny. One of the first, I don't know if you guys know who Papa Mead is. He does his own YouTube channel. It's so funny. I didn't know what gooning meant because I would call people goons. I'd be like, oh my God, you're such a goon. My boyfriend's like, do you even know what that means? So I just found out like a couple months ago what that actually means. I think you should still keep it goonish. I think it's hilarious, but yes,
Yeah, it's all
I don't
right.
know what that means.
recently
so
found
maybe
out what that is.
y'all can let me know because I'm. Anyways, by the way,
Your YouTube video.
this is a question for. Actually, no. You know what? I'm gonna put this in the Ask Joe questions.
Oh my
We're gonna
God.
get your questions in for this next segment called.
Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Ask Joe. Joe. Ask Joe. Whoa! And Jeff.
And
I love it.
Josh. All right, moving on. Here we go. Big Beef, you ready to answer some questions? Because I think there are some directed at you, actually. This first one. Are we still getting a Punisher special presentation since he will be in the next Spider-Man? Joshua.
Honestly, I don't think so. It's sounding too woke. The Punisher is not going to be nice anymore. He like I want to see him show up and deliver flowers and candies to sick children at the hospital and all that. Instead, he's just going to be a mean, nasty dude killing people. It sounds too 2025 to me. So hopefully not. But we will see. Yeah.
What, in all reality, are we seriously? Is this because
Yeah, seriously, we're gonna see him. He's gonna be in brand new Brave New World, whatever the crap
Brand new day.
Spider-Man sequel is gonna be, and then his special presentation, and then he's also gonna be in Born Again Season 2. So we're gonna see him multiple times throughout 2026.
Well, that's good news because we all like the Punisher. All right, moving on. Caleb Leland. Josh, any truth to the rumors that Miles will make an appearance in the next Spider-Man movie?
It says Mike's.
Yeah, it says Mike.
I know,
it's
but
supposed
I'm
to be
gonna
Miles.
assume
Yeah,
it has.
you know what, man?
L right next to the keyboard. Typo.
We're gonna see
Yeah,
Mike.
take it
We're
easy.
gonna see Lunch Money Comics and Popa Chili Town and all the rest of the mics.
Yeah, hopefully, maybe. No, for
Magic.
Miles, honestly, I don't think we're gonna see him till after Secret Wars.
Oh,
That's
wow,
just my
okay.
opinion. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't heard anything. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say.
Wait, but you know something. So can you allude to the fact that you don't?
I'm not
Okay, so
saying
you.
something. It's just like I don't see. I think Tom after Secret Wars, they're probably gonna more than likely kill Peter. So he's gonna get a send off. I don't think Tom's gonna keep doing this forever. And then so you'll probably see him after Secret Wars take over the mantle. But I mean, honestly, we could always get like a Ben Reilly or something. I think he's more popular than Miles, and we'll see.
I love Ben Reilly, but come
You need
on.
to stay on track. You need to. We're gonna put you in timeout. You've only been kicked off once, only once. But
I'm sorry. I
treading on thin ice, buddy. You are treading on thin ice. All right. This next one is for Joe. Is Furry-Con sponsored by Slab Decks?
Probably. Yeah. Let's just say yeah.
Why are you acting like you don't know? Be loud and proud about your furriness.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. How did this happen to me? How did
Yeah.
this happen to me?
What I really want to know is how often you clean that thing.
That's a good point. And does the vest come off? The vest and the bow tie, does it come off, or is it sewn all together?
To
That
answer
was-
the question, the vest stays on during furry sex.
Okay. This is kind of like the birds and the bees for me, but how does furry sex work?
Oh,
I wish I knew, but also
Zippers.
really am glad that I don't know. Naomi said zippers.
yeah. How
That
do you guys
could be
not know?
dangerous.
Yeah, no, they have like zippers and everything for that. How do you guys not know this?
So wait,
Just
so
for the
that goes
record,
back to
I
your
haven't
original
had-
question,
I haven't-
Naomi, or actually hope that he washes that thing, right?
Yeah.
Guys, time out. I haven't had dinner yet. Just throw that out there, okay?
Oh, okay.
Oh, Joe,
Wow.
you think
These-
it's gross?
These images. Oh.
How do you feel about him like going?
I have no idea what's going on. My mind is blown that I made a joke about Jeff 4 minutes before the show started, and somehow it got turned around on me in the next few minutes.
You know
AI
what?
is getting
Not
way
all of
too
us
powerful.
understand, but I accept you for who you are, Joe.
Yeah,
We all
and
do.
anything can happen on a comic book canon. Now, this is a more straightforward question here from Derek, which is surprising. Ask Joe, how much will the 9.9 Ultimate Ultimate Fallout number 4 sell for?
All right, so you may have seen it this week. An Ultimate Fallout 4 just showed up that has been graded a 9.9. It was submitted as a single book submission to through Comic Link. Comic Link is going to be selling the item. I'm very skeptical, and not only am I skeptical because it's Comic Link, but if you look at this book, you can look at the high def scans. There are 2 color breaks on this book. This book is not a 9.9. I've seen probably a dozen in-person 9.8s that look better than this of Ultimate Fallout 4. I've had Ultimate Fallout 4s that look better than this one. I am so confused as to why this was graded a 9.9 rather than a 9.6 or a 9.8. That being said, if people don't catch on, it will likely go for somewhere between $10,000 and $20,000. I know that's pretty wide range, but 9.9s typically are going for 10 to 20 times their 9.8 counterparts for books that there are very few or just one copies of a 9.9. I feel bad for whoever buys it because it's just not a 9.9. I'm very confused as to how it got a 9.9.
I think there's damage on the back of it too, if I'm not mistaken. I saw the pictures you showed, and I think that if you look on the back, there's some creasing and like another tear or something.
I looked at the back pretty well, and I didn't see anything that would keep it from a 9.9. But those 2 color breaking spine ticks on the front, that should keep it from a 9.9. I looked over this book with some other people as well, and we were just all scratching our heads. Not a fan of this when an auction house gets a book and maybe is graded a little bit more favorably is the word that I was looking for. I almost said favorably. Favorably.
Furry-Con, huh?
Yeah. This is. I don't like this whole thing. It does not smell very nice. What do I think it'll sell for? Probably between $10,000 and $20,000. Should it sell for that much? No.
Well, this goes back to the original Giant Size X-Men 1 9.9 that everyone questioned was not a 9.9, not even a 9.8 because of the obvious flaws by the scans. Also, the question that came up back then was, why did it take so long for an Ultimate Fallout 4 to receive a 9.9? That's a modern book, and there are plenty printed here. And now that this one is, again, Joe, you've seen, in your opinion, you're a grader, you're a professional grader, that this would be, not a 9.9. It begs the question: how did it get to that point? If somebody buys this and another 9.9 shows up, that'll clearly cripple the value of this thing if it goes for $10,000 to $15,000. So again, more questions than answers about this 9.9 thanks to CGC.
Yeah, so here's the thing. why hasn't one shown up? Most books don't have a 9.9. Realistically, there are, not a lot of copies of Ultimate Fallout 4 out there compared to like copies of Spawn 1 and Spider-Man 1 and X-Men 1 and those books from the 90s that had millions and millions of copies printed. Not only that, but the paper quality was way worse. So it makes sense that there's no 9.9s. Now, to put it into perspective, for those of you who haven't looked it up, there's over 4,000 9.8s of that book. There are a lot more of those other books that I mentioned in 9.8. So it's not unusual, but the thing is, this isn't a 9.9. That's the part that just gets me, and I don't like that. Personally, I'm not a fan of the 9.9 grade. I think that 9.8 is really should be where it caps out, with the exception of giving 10s to square bound books and those books that are easier to get perfect 10s on. I don't like it. Will there be more 9.9s? Maybe. Who knows? Maybe not. Having a census count of 1 versus 2, I don't think it matters too much, honestly, for the price. I don't think a second copy would really cripple the price. Would 10 or 15 more? Yes, absolutely. But I don't think a second or third one would cripple the price when there's so few out there.
I'd like to know since there's only one 9.9 out there currently, who's the person that graded this? I don't want to say it's from CGC. It's like a baseball umpire. You know who's behind the plate. Who called this out as a 9.9 and why? Since you clearly have questions about this.
Yeah, I mean, it's a high-end book. It went through walkthrough. So, I mean, it can be assumed that the top graders, maybe even Matt Nelson had a hand at looking at it. Who, I can't say for sure. I'm just throwing out Matt Nelson's name because I know it. And I know that he, at least the last I heard, he was still grading some of the more high-end stuff. And I would say that this is a high-end book. But, I think that more than one person gave their stamp of approval on this 9.9. And to me, it's questionable.
Well, I just want to say one thing. I've heard a theory that possibly CGC did this just because PSA announced their pricing and everything. I think want to get more fans excited in the CGC side. So could be a controversial decision to sway people towards their end.
Well, it's definitely going to give the community something more to talk about with CGC, as well as more conspiracy theories like that one right there. So who knows? Again, more to come, I'm sure. We're going to get to the next question. Again, if you want the segment to continue asking questions. But before we do, actually, I need to correct somebody right here. Derek, the whole thing stinks like Jeff's furry vest after a long weekend in Palm Springs. I'm not the one with the furry vest, as we know. In case you haven't seen it, which you probably have, Joe does have the furry vest. So, again, it's all sewed in together, right, Joe?
Very true. Yep.
And it's also very favorly.
Stop it.
Okay,
Favorably.
Moving on. We got Toonish Lurker here. What is a non-comic related movie you're looking forward to this year? I'm exceptionally excited for the new Naked Gun movie.
I'm going to be honest. I can't think of a single one. Not that there isn't one that I'm excited for. I'm not that I'm not a huge movie guy. Is that I tend to hear from other people what is good. Unless something really catches my eye, I tend to just kind of hear from others and say, "Oh, I'm going to go check that out." Mostly, other than the obvious, the comic book movies, I'm going to see horror stuff. So if anyone has any suggestions for good horror movies that are coming out this year, hit me up.
Weapons looks like it's gonna be really good.
Okay,
Who's in that?
It's like the girl who's playing Silver Surfer.
Julie Gardner.
Yeah, she's in it. She plays the teacher. It looks really good. It's an A24 movie. So I'm a huge A24 stan, and it looks really creepy, really good. Also, Josh Brolin is in it too.
Yeah,
and God, what's his name from Shang-Chi?
Got
Simu Liu.
Yeah, he's the other guy in it.
Alden Aronich, Josh Brolin, Julia Garner, Brian Tyree, Henry, Benedict Wong.
Him.
Benedict Wong.
Yeah, he's in it. So it looks, I mean, if you see the newest trailer that came out of it, it looks really good. I love horror movies. They're my favorite genre. But that one looks.
All right. I got one. And the trailer got me. The Running Man with what's his face.
Yeah.
That looks badass. Like that looks like popcorn box office fun all around. And I know it's obviously Arnold did the first Running Man, but this one, I don't know. It looks really good.
It's faithful to the novel, though. It's like 100% faithful to the actual novel that Stephen
that's
King
good
wrote.
to know.
Yes.
I think he looks like a rat. I can't get over it.
He does look kind of weird, but there's something about that
capybara.
guy.
That's what it is.
Capybara.
That's what he looks exactly like one. Look it up. Look it up.
I like that guy. But all right. Moving on. What do we have next? Nukes. Oh, actually, I don't know. Josh or Dan, did you have anything you wanted to add?
I know. I'm with Joe. I can't remember the last time I didn't see a movie that wasn't superhero related.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I only see superhero related movies. For shows, though, last season of Stranger Things is coming out this year.
Oh yeah. That's
So have that to look forward to.
By the way, Alicia and I saw the first half hour of Sinners before she passed out. It's impossible to watch a full movie with her unless we're in the theater. All right. Ask Joe and crew, what are your top tips for someone that is planning to host their first live comic book sale on social? So this is probably geared more towards Joe than anybody else here, because I don't think anybody else has.
Just my biggest advice is do tons of marketing for it. Post about it, maybe even starting like a week or so out. Post on Facebook, maybe in Facebook groups if you're in any comic book Facebook groups. Post about it on your regular social media. Maybe some, friends of yours that are vaguely into comics will come grab something, and set your expectations very low. When I first started selling comics, I was like stoked to sell like $50 worth of stuff over the course of a claim sale. It is hard to get started. It is slow. You don't always have too many people in the room. And even when you do have, some people in the room, they're not always talking. They're not always buying. It can be very quiet. So make sure you keep things going. You keep people entertained. Definitely try to start a conversation. I mean, Josh, whether he's buying a book or not, he's hanging out at my claim sale chatting with me, which is always great to have, some back and forth there.
So fun.
And
it's the fur.
Does it matter what platform you're on? Like,
I mean, there's going to be pros and cons to different platforms. Your follower count definitely matters a lot. When I started doing Instagram claim sales, I had a couple thousand. I think I had like 2,000 or 3,000 followers. 2,000 or 3,000 followers does not equate to 2,000 or 3,000 or 200 or 300 viewers. It might equate to like 2 or 3 viewers. It can be very, very slow, like I said. But definitely a good idea to promote. Be willing to bend on your prices a little bit when you're very like firm on your prices, unless they're really, really good prices. People kind of get turned off to that. But if you can accept some bundle deals and some offers and things like that, you don't have to get your shirt taken, but you want to make sure people are happy and they come back and they continue to buy and stuff like that.
Yeah, and share it with us. I mean, all of us can share it on our socials too for you.
Yeah.
I think all of us would like to support you. So just let us all know when it's happening if you could.
I'll give you the perspective from from somebody in the chat that's looking forward to this. Definitely have, when you set up, I kind of like what Joe does. He can puts up anywhere between like 8 to 12 books, I think it is, right, Joe? Yeah, for each.
Yeah, I have 12 slots on my wall.
Yeah, so make sure you have like numbers set up like A, B, C, D. When you post up a book, be very clear, like, hey, this is Avengers #1, 9.8 for $50,000. You know what I mean? And some people are gonna ask you for like like what's it graded at, or what do you have an estimate on, and just do your best, but be very clear, have a great picture. And like Jay said, like I've seen claim sales where people try to do the first one and they're just very quiet and they're not saying anything other than putting up books. And to me, that's just kind of like, if it's quiet and nothing's going on, I kind of just bounce. But yeah, I mean, Jay pretty much told you everything. And another big thing is, like he said, promote it. Because if you just pop up for a claim sale and I'm out, or even if I'm at home and I don't know what's going on, I may pop in late, that way, and show off your inventory too. Let people, show off the bigger books and the different deals you do. And I think it goes a long way to help. So
yeah, that's another thing. You do want to have stuff that's going to get people's attention. Whether it's, obviously pricier books help get people's attention. Even if someone is not in the market for an ASM 300, seeing that you have good stuff really helps, because there's claim sales going on all the time. Why do they want to watch your claim sale over, hopping on Whatnot or watching, the Elite sale that night or whatever? Have stuff that people are interested in, people want, and that goes a long way. As well as definitely be prepared. That's kind of the most important thing. And this goes for setting up at a Comic-Con as well. Have your books clearly marked, priced, graded for the ones that are, the grades more important on, and stuff like that. Not physically graded, like CGC graded, but like, this is roughly a very fine, whatever method you want to use. This is high grade, this is low grade, this is mid grade. Just be able to make sure that you can answer questions on the spot rather than taking the time to, look something up.
I'm going to emphasize one other key point here. Make it more than just about you selling books. Make it entertaining and a community type of an event. Joe, you're really good at that as well. You're really good at interacting with people. You're really good at it. You make it fun. Like the people who make it fun do the best. Do the best on this. So that's what we'll say. All right, we got one more.
Wear booty shirts like Joe does, because let me tell you something. You see the back of that claim sale.
Khakis. They're khakis.
So
I'm wearing them right now.
They're so nice and tight, and it's it's like, hey, I definitely like to buy that.
Are they hoochie daddies?
Yeah, they're short khaki shorts, and I've got a little bit of a booty, and Josh really loves it when I wear these.
You got a break from dropping it like it's hot at Furry-Con.
We went from this cute image to what we're talking about now.
I know we've lost
you got to put the tail on next time you do it, Joe.
We can get a tail. We can have a tail coming out. That's a good idea, Josh. We got that coming up next. Don't you worry about that. All right, final question of the evening for Ask Joe and Canon Crew. Ask Joe and Crew, since Werewolf is getting a sequel, sorry, what other type of characters would you like to see adapted, either TV or movie? I'm thinking Calico wants the horror genre, I would say.
I definitely want to see more of Man-Thing. We got an intro to the character. He wasn't in a ton of it. It was more focused around Werewolf by Night. But yeah, I would love to see some Ghost Rider. I would love to see various vampire characters. There's a bunch of them in the Marvel universe. I think, leaning into the more like demonic, devilish side of things, like obviously Mephisto's something, but Demo Goblin. This is a character that I grew up with in the 90s. The possessed version of Hobgoblin, which some people pronounce Demo Goblin, and I hate that because it's a demon, so it's obviously pronounced Demo Goblin. It makes me want to throw up when people say Demo Goblin. Hate it. Anyway, just the more, there's tons of characters they can use in the Marvel universe. You've got Son of Satan, Damian Hellstrom. You've got the Bloodstones, which we've kind of had a little introduction to, Elsa, and they can kind of go full on monster as well. Always go back to that the Dracula, Frankenstein, Mummy early stuff, as well as the even the pre-hero monster stuff would be cool.
Anybody else would like to kind of add on this?
Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
Potentially.
I'm surprised Ghost Rider
if you
wasn't
wa-
said.
Look, if you
I
watch
said
Iron
Ghost
Man,
Rider.
Joe
Isn't
did
Ghost
mention Ghost
Rider?
Rider. Yeah.
I couldn't hear it through all the fur in his nostrils.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
The one show I'm never going to see is the original Defenders. I've been asking that for a while. That's not going to happen.
Is that horror though?
it's not horror though. I don't think, is
So
it?
much.
No.
He's just saying.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
You guys, you're segueing into other genres and shows that you want to see, but that's one that's never going to happen.
I think it would be cool to see like the Tales of Terror, like stuff like that. The old school horror comics, like
Sure.
have their day in the sun or midnight. Those would be really cool to kind of because the only thing that we really have is like Tales from the Crypt that really kind of touched on that genre. I think that would be really cool, maybe within the style of like Guillermo del Toro or something. That
Or
Ooh.
how would like kind of take the source material, kind of do it as close as possible for modern day? That would be a lot of fun. Those horror covers are crazy.
they're so good.
And imagine interpreting that into some sort of visual medium. That'd be a lot of fun. But that's all the time we have right now for Ask Joe and the Canon crew.
Ask Joe, ask Joe, ask Joe, 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 ask Joe, whoa, and Jeff.
All right, before we move on to the next segment, which is another Did You Know, want to give shout out to Canis alumnus who thoroughly enjoyed Superman, Chris, Journos Comics. Hello, sir. Give us a scale of 1 to 10 what you think. And while you do that, we just want to talk about the Fantastic Four, because last week was Superman for Did You Know. This week, we're rounding out the Fantastic Four. We're not done with the Fantastic Four Did You Knows, but I'm sure most of you all knew this, that the Human Torch was not the original Human Torch.
True.
Right? That's facts.
Did you know Johnny Storm wasn't the first Human Torch? Before Johnny Storm shouted, "Flame on!" in Fantastic Four issue 2, the name Human Torch had already been established decades before. Back in 1939, Timely Comics, the company that would become Marvel, introduced a flaming android named Jim Hammond, the original Human Torch. Jim Hammond wasn't just some background character. He was one of Marvel's first superheroes, debuting alongside Namor the Submariner. He was the headliner in the iconic Marvel Comics #1 with the cover showing his body walking through metal. Fast forward to 1961. Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were launching a new era of superheroes with the Fantastic Four. Instead of inventing an entirely new flame-powered hero, they reimagined the Human Torch as a teenage hothead named Johnny Storm. It was part nostalgia, part strategy, and a nod to Marvel's roots, while lighting up a new generation. Johnny Storm wasn't a carbon copy, though. He brought attitude, impulsiveness, and that classic sibling rivalry with Sue. He helped set the tone for the Marvel Universe. Characters that were flawed, human, and full of personality. So the next time you see Johnny soar through the sky, remember, he's carrying a torch passed down through comic book history. And if you didn't know, now you do.
Yeah, I think most comic book collectors and fans did know this, but it's still interesting to bring up. And I like the fact that John Byrne brought back Jim Hammond in the Avengers West Coast run. So that was a lot of fun. Any other thoughts?
I love that it said a carbon copy because it went from an android to a human. So I thought that was very funny.
Very
'Cause
clever.
it literally is a carbon copy of sorts.
I say this on July 25th. Look up. No, wait. No.
No, I was taken already.
On
Dan,
July
any thoughts?
25th. Flame on.
Well, just to further the nostalgia, can you guys name off the top of your head the first Golden Age Marvel superhero team?
Yes, but I'm not going to
I
say
know
it.
Joe. I know Joe got it. Joe has it.
Can I
The three of you.
say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Name more, right?
No, the
Superhero
superhero team.
Team.
Oh,
They only
team.
appeared-
Oh, the
they
Invaders.
only- Yeah, no.
Oh,
All went. Anybody?
I mean,
I
Cal-
think
All
it's
winners.
Invaders,
The All
yeah.
Winners Squad. 1946.
Oh,
There was only 2 issues. I have both of them, by the way. They
Yeah,
were
the
rare comics.
Invaders The Invaders were a Golden Age team, but they didn't come about until the Silver Age.
Right.
Maybe
Interesting.
actually
I didn't
early
know that
on.
actually.
It was Roy Thomas's way to sort of retroactively bring back that team. So that's my little nostalgia for the day.
I mean, you kind of ruined it in a way, but I'm sure people short memories these days with TikTok will probably do a Did You Know next week on that.
No, the Furry Joe outfit ruined it for the show today. So I'm not.
Well, how did this ruin the show? By the way, tell us.
It's a cute costume, but then it got sexual, and how do you clean the thing? And it got worse from there.
But that's what furries do, I think, right? They like to have sex in these costumes, right, Joe?
You're not helping.
I don't know.
You're not helping.
Joe, what do you mean you don't know? You went to Furry-Con 2025 this year. Did you have sexual intercourse in your costume?
No, I wasn't there.
Prove it.
I don't know, Joe. That picture tells a different story.
God, I hate AI.
What is your
That's actually not well. I
browsing
mean, the costume's
history
AI. What happened here? I took the head off and took a real Joe head and put it on there, and it's great. It just works perfectly.
I have to say the ending of that video where he's screaming, it was really good.
What video are you talking about?
The video you made for mine.
I thought you were talking about a different video where he's screaming.
No.
Okay. All right.
The video where I'm falling through the thing that we've used 100,000 times.
Or this one where you're wearing this costume. Yeah, we are going off the rails here. This is oh god, this is So why don't we just we're just gonna get into Fresh from the Comic Shop. Does that sound good? I think
that sounds great.
Yeah, let's just finish the show. Why don't we?
Fresh from the comic shop, your collection's treasures ready to pop. It's time to share, don't let it flop. Fresh from the comic shop. Take a shot, make it bright, give it style and flair. Show a book that's unique, something rare out there. Tell us why it matters, what's the story behind. Pull at our heartstrings and you'll surely shine.
Sponsored by Crafty Comics, where collections flex their style. Museum quality slabs and displays with 99% UV protection. Because your fresh gets deserve the spotlight.
I'm laughing at these comments here. Is that the Carfax Fox? Then you clean it with slab decks, meaning the costume. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes, it is time for Fresh from the Comic Shop. We are going to announce our June winner. Finally, sorry again. This is middle of July, basically, right now. But Fresh from the Comic Shop, you just send in your fresh gets on the Instagram. Hashtag FFTCS, but please make sure to tag the picture with Comic Book Canon so we see it. The picture, not the description. 3 criteria to think of, and that is take a well-composed shot, be artistic, have fun with it, have it relate back to the book. Try and get a unique book in there for us. It doesn't have to be what? I don't know, Josh. How much?
$30,000.
But it can be how much, Joe?
30 cents.
And as long as it's unique, we'll take that into consideration. And finally, pull at our heartstrings. That goes a long way because we cry a lot. I cried in Superman. I'm just admitting that. Josh did too. Dan, I hope you cry in Superman. By the way, if you haven't noticed, the top row here is the Black Hat Brigade. The bottom are the losers, I think. The bottom down there. So
sounds pretty woke.
I don't believe that, guys.
Excuse me. Ouch.
Yeah, I know. It's getting mean, this show, guys. It's getting mean. Yes, but I think what happens is when we set out like that, we just feel better about ourselves when we make fun of other people.
I don't.
I refuse.
Oh wow.
Well, yeah. She was pretty short-lived on the show. I mean, I liked her for the time being, but,
exactly.
Back to the sausage fest.
Wow. Moving on. Does everybody want to know? Well, before we announce who won the
I'm back on top. I'm on the bottom.
Put the hat back on too. Please, no. I need this show.
No, I've had here.
We're gonna announce, or just gonna let you know, remind you, January winner is Mons Comics. February is Dr. Plagueis. What is it? March is Super Doc Crispy. April is Nori Jordan, the man himself. May is Mike Hadge, and here we are. June, for the month of June, it was Mark Leneker versus Spuds. And the winner to take home June was Spuds Comics. Congratulations, Lexi.
Woo!
Well done. Well deserved. Great job, Mark Leneker, as well. Mark Leneker has a nice little submission. But, Lexi, you are now the June winner of 2025. You'll be in the running for that the big book of the year. And, by the way, y'all are going to learn probably next week what you'll be winning for these months. We have a new sponsor, and I'm just informing I'm informing Naomi that you will be interviewing the CEO next week.
Yes.
Yeah, so you'll be on that. All right, so here we go. Let's just get into it, shall we? With Mark Leneker. I love this, by the way. This is really good right here. Mark Leneker, Michael Jackson plus George Lucas plus Francis Ford Coppola plus Walt Disney Studios equals a $30 million 3D 18-minute musical movie short. It ran for years at Disney theme parks and was resurrected after Jackson's death as a tribute. Eclipse Comics released the 3D adaptation in 3 versions: the standard size for comic shops, 2D for the colorblind, and an oversized souvenir only available in the Disney parks. You can now watch it in 2D on YouTube. I have to say, this is well composed. And it's definitely unique. Thoughts here from the Canon crew.
Shout out to Calico Chris for picking out Max Rebo on there. That's pretty good.
This is really well done. Dan, I don't know. You were probably you were too mature at this point for a little Michael Jackson, but I definitely want your thoughts.
I was born mature, but anyway, no, it's a fun cover. That's all I'm going to say about it.
I love it.
There are things that can be said, and yeah, he's a divisive figure from pop culture, but that was a thing back in the day, big time. So well done there, Mark Leneker. You are eligible. You know who else is eligible? And we love when you include the fam in this. It is Raising Elm. Look at this. Raising Elm Comics. Howdy, comic fam. We just returned from our family vacation in Gulf Shores, Alabama. This was a super special trip because this was Eli's first time to the beach. Wow. And he just ate it all up. Literally, the little dude ate sand out of the palm of his hand. Oh my God, that's gross. We all had a blast, though. Wonderful memories were made. Prior to our trip, I had bought a copy of Lilo and Stitch, issue 1 by Dynamite for Eli's PC. The comic book ultimately made the journey with us. Our first morning there, we woke up early, walked out to the beach, still in our pajamas, kicked off our sandals, and introduced Eli to the beach. If I'm being honest, it seems silly to carry a comic out on the beach with us. But as I was framing the candid shot of Randy and Eli, I felt the day-to-day stress wash away with the tide. I was at peace. I was with my family. I was with my Ohana, as Stitch would say. This is my family. I found it all on my own. Yeah, still good. Much love, Comic Ohana. P.S. We haven't seen the live-action Lilo and Stitch yet, but we watched the original animated version while we were on vacation. Eli loved it, and this is this is so well done on so many levels. Yeah. I'm going to admit it pulled my heartstrings. The picture's outstanding, like outstanding. And it's not unique, but it is good. And by the way, check out that family. Like, come on.
That's
I
great.
love that baby.
I would absolutely call like a Disney, Disney comic for like a Disney movie property. I'd call that more unique. It's not mainstream Marvel and DC. It's something indie, a little bit out of the ordinary.
But Dynamite though, I don't know. But it's how cool is this?
Yeah, that's great.
Like, I just love this, and I love that Justin has shared Eli's journey from a baby to this. He's not a toddler anymore. He's
so cute.
Hey, Jeff, I got to suit up. I'll be back in a minute.
Of course. Thank you, Judge. Anyway, so that's very well done. Again, we always say with Justin, aka Raising Elm. Just take note. Next up is Nuke's Comics, and Nuke's always gives us some good, well-composed, fun shots here, and this one doesn't disappoint either. Nuke's Comics, fresh from the comic shop. One World Under Doom. This is the Adi Granov variant cover. After Emperor Doom neglects Earth's mystical defenses, Dormammu invades, banishes all the heroes to a collapsing dimension, and faces Doom alone. Despite being defeated and nearly killed, Doom uses his time-freezing magic to stall Dormammu and trigger a hidden spell. As a portal opens, Doom's secret plan is revealed. I picked up this comic from Lone Star Comics. Good stuff indeed. Nuke. Okay, everybody, I'm an idiot, and I haven't allowed you all to share your books. So, show your.
I just want to say the One World Under Doom series is really good. You flip-flop on how you feel about the whole situation the whole entire time. It's really good. Just so you know, you should read it.
I'm going to wait until it comes out on Marvel Unlimited. I know it has started on there, but I got to say, this is kind of backtracking here. Finally, it was on Marvel Unlimited. Daredevil Cold Day in Hell, issue 1. Loved it.
Right? It's so good.
I can't wait for issue 2. So, anyways, that was one of your picks of the week as well. All right, Joseph, what do you got first?
Am I doing all three of mine, or
Let's just do all three as quickly as we can?
Sure. So actually 2 out of the 3 of mine are actually not comics. So let's kick it off with a non-comic. I actually got this a while ago and I kind of forgot about it. This was in a comic collection that I got. It was a large, expensive collection and it was kind of a throw-in, but despite being a throw-in, it's actually worth quite a bit of money. I'm not a toy guy, so I don't exactly know. I've asked some people and they've told me that this is potentially, once graded, worth a couple $1,000s. This is an original Darth Vader from 1977, a 12 back, which means that there are 12 figures on the back here, which is the first print run of this original Darth Vader action figure. So this came out with the movie. One of the most famous things about Star Wars and Star Wars history and everything is that George Lucas retained all the rights to the toys and stuff and made so much money off of that stuff for literally decades, and probably still is at this point, even though, I'm not sure if he has residuals anymore because he sold the rights and everything, but he made oodles and oodles. So yeah, this is an original Darth Vader. I've heard that it's grade worthy. It is, still sealed and stuff. So I don't know much about grading toys, but I'm going to have someone send that in for me. Second piece is, this was given to me.
That's one of the coolest things you've ever brought to Fresh.
So for sure. And that was a throw-in. That and there's a Chewbacca with it, but the Vader's the cooler one. I might be keeping that, by the way. That might not be.
There's a show on Netflix that goes through the different toy lines that talks about what you explained with George Lucas. Dude, let me tell you something. Paul Bond's probably going to try squeezing that Darth Vader for me for like $25 and some comics, but you hold out and you get all the money you can.
Do you know how much it originally went for?
Like me? On the shelf?
Yeah, like when it first came out.
Oh, they were like less than $10, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm sure it was like $1.50 or something. Yeah, it was 1977. It was probably like $2 or something like that.
I'm so jealous.
But pretty cool.
That's incredible.
So this next one, this was given to me by my good friend Alex, aka Collecting Dude. He just showed up to the Superman movie with this in his car. Apparently, the company he works for, which is Landry Pop Auctions, who I definitely want to have the owner on here sometime.
Yeah,
they got a bunch of artwork in, and this is a really awesome print. It's a print. It's not like original art or anything, but my favorite character, Nightcrawler, and this is done by Casey Jones. Who I guess is the artist, not the character from TMNT, different Casey Jones, but it's an homage to Nightcrawler #1, which is a Dave Cockrum cover. So it says after Dave Cockrum, but pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Alex.
Wow, Joe, this is a very eclectic Fresh from the Comic Shop from you.
Well, here's another eclectic one. What would it be? What would a Fresh from the Comic Shop from me be without a pre-code horror book, right? Crime Suspense Stories #1, 1950 on the dot. Issue #1 from this EC title, one of the 5 EC horror titles that I collect. There's Crime Suspense Stories, Shock Suspense Stories, Tales from the Crypt, Haunt of Fear, and Vault of Horror. This is one of the books that I really wanted because it's the #1 from the run. And I got this from Code Blue Comics a few months ago, but it was in a CBCS case. And I said, hey, will you send that to CGC for me? It was a 6.5 CBCS, and I want it reholdered. So part of the deal was he sends it in to get graded for me. And he sent me a message. He said, hey, it didn't get a 6.5 from CGC. And I was like, oh, man, that's a bummer. We got a little grade bump here to a 7.0. So I got this. I bought this back in March, but I just only received it recently. So that is a great addition to my personal collection.
I feel like you've desensitized us so much with the EC horror that, like, I'm just blown away by that Darth Vader figure, to be honest with you. Like,
dude, it's I totally got this a couple months ago, and I kept saying, like, I got to bring that on Canon for Fresh in the Comic Shop, and I just never have until now.
It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible.
I am going to sell the Chewbacca, by the way. So if anyone does collect these, the Chewbacca is unpunched too, which I heard is
good. That makes it way more like valuable.
That's crazy.
Are you going to get Vader graded, or are you going to keep it like the way it is?
I think I want to grade the Vader, especially if I'm going to be keeping it, because right now it's in a case, but it's like a flimsier case, and you can tell it's like an older case too. So I'd rather get it like actually graded and encapsulated.
I would have thought you and then keep it. Yeah, you should definitely keep that.
Anybody else have books they want to show off before we get to our final submission?
Big Beef.
The beef.
Go ahead, Beef.
Please show us.
So I recently got a couple books in from Pope of Chilitown. Supergirl issue number 20.
Okay.
This is actually like a $20-$30 variant. Forget the artist, but yeah, apparently this is worth quite a bit. He had it on a good sale, and Supergirl, Power Girl. I'm not gonna pass that up.
We all know why you got it.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, some stuff. I got another great cover from the Supergirl Volume 5 or Volume 4 from the 2000s, issue number 68, and just a great, Mary Marvel Supergirl cover, fighting it out there. And then the last one I got is, another DC lady. So this is a 1 in 10 jock variant of Detective Comics issue number 859 featuring Kate Kane. Yeah. And what's great is I think 858 does a Alex Ross cover, and then 860 is a Adam Hughes cover. So I'm going to try to hunt those down maybe at Terrificon. But yeah, love this, and great comic.
Those Batwoman books, a lot of those during that era, absolutely phenomenal. So and that cover by Jock is outstanding. Naomi, Judge, do you have anything? I personally don't.
I do, but I'm not prepared. We can wait till next week.
Okay, thank you, Judge. All right, we will move on to our final submission of the week. And who is it? 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 Where am I? I'm totally lost.
It could be any one of us.
Oh, it's Joshua's best friend, Nori Jordan. Look at that. Despite my many Thunderbolts posts, I actually have been putting a lot of effort into my Daredevil collection. I have complete runs of everything except a volume 1, but I'm making great progress. This week, I picked up the last book I needed to complete my volume 7 run. I'm not a Punisher fan, but I love every book I read where Daredevil and Bullseye get to smack him around. Daredevil number 4 is a great cover, and the writing is equally as good. Take care, everyone. Only a few more weeks until Terrificon. Now, Nori is not eligible, but that's a great submission nonetheless. So here we go, guys. The ones that are eligible are, we got Mark Leneker. We got Raising Elm with that in this. And then Nukes is eligible as well. So, Joe.
Yeah.
I'm thinking one way, and I think that you're thinking the same.
They honestly are all contenders. They're solid submissions. They all have their strong points, but I do think that one really checks a lot of the boxes for me.
Yeah, me too. It's crazy. God, I'll tell you, there's 1 and 1A. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm with you. I was
Mark
close on
Lineker,
the other. Yeah.
Holy shnikes! I mean, you were just in the finals for June.
Mhm.
Great showing there, and this right here is fantastic. However,
Very unique.
I personally am leaning towards Raising Elm.
This literally looks like it would be an advertisement in a magazine. The angle, the lighting, it's perfect. Like the well-composed shot is off the charts here. And obviously has a great family story to it. And like I said, the book it's unique in a way. It's a book that just came out, whatever, but it's still, not everyone knows that Dynamite puts out, a lot of Disney content. It's an indie publisher. It's not Marvel. It's not DC. We're not looking at the same, 90s Superman book that we've seen a million times. This is something that, if you weren't looking for it, you might not know it's there. So yeah, this one really checks the boxes for me, and just straight up, literally, I felt like I turned the page in a magazine and this was an advertisement for Marlboro cigarettes or something like that. Like something, vacation at the Atlantis Resort or something like that. But obviously it's a comic book, which is even cooler than both of those things.
Now I have to ask, is that his son and wife in the background?
Yep.
Okay, I just noticed
Oh, no way.
You
Oh, that's
know
even
that?
better. That's even better.
Yeah, that's what got me. Yeah.
I love that.
It's so cool. Just the way he explained. And again, I think this is the longest we've probably ever taken on something like this just to talk about it. But like how he explained how just his stress just washed away, hearing the waves crash against the beach and seeing his son play with, his wife and
eat sand.
Yeah. But at the same time, man, this is a memory right here. And it's so cool that Comic Book Canon was along your vacation. I'm not making this about us, but it is humbling, and it's just very cool and special. So I think it's safe to say we have nominated you to move on to the semifinals of July, but it's in the hands of our judge.
Really? All that it comes down to me. I'm the baseball closer that comes out and throws 3 pitches and the game is over. No, Raising Elm. This is a fabulous submission, and he is the winner this week. Case dismissed.
Case dismissed, indeed. And we are about to dismiss episode 231. Thank you so much all for joining us. It was another good one. Guys, this is like 2 weeks in a row. We had a great balanced show with all 5 of us involved. It's really not easy to do. I don't think people outside of it realize it, but it's so much fun to do it with you 4, and I wouldn't want it any other way. I've had so much fun. That is not me just throwing shit your way. Speaking of shit, you can just clean your shit off of your slabs with Slab Decks, because when you protect grails, you don't clean with retail. Joe.
Nice. It looks like Pretty Woman in the background of that.
It probably was Julia Roberts. But they were like, you know what? I don't see how this relates to Slab Decks, so let's just cut off her head right there. So
I didn't even. Okay, I'm such a comic lover. I didn't notice the beautiful woman in the background. I was looking at the AF-15.
Yeah.
Seriously,
Which was cleaned by Slab Decks. Anyways, let's say our proper goodbyes, everybody. Let's go. Dan, Judge, what do you got?
By the way, it looked like a Harry Potter with my golf in the background. Yeah, I was playing golf today. So anyway, no, hey, love being on the show here. And I promised my segment for my comic pick of the week will be back. I've been so busy, but that will return next week. And I'll see all of you. I love all you guys here. It's a great honor to be on this show and to support and make people happy for a few hours. So I will see all of you guys next week.
Time out. Whoever's next. Glad I found a new Sunday night show. Thank you, Calico. That's like the ultimate compliment right there.
Yeah,
we just want to have fun interacting with all you people. So, Calico, we appreciate that. Wait, hold on. Joshua, what do you got?
Yeah, we are here. The end of the weekend. Superman has come out, and DCU is at a new start, and I'm very excited to see where the future goes from here. Thank you guys all for tuning in, as always, and we'll see you next week on the next episode of Comic Book Canon.
100%. Naomi, who really brought the big scoop this week, which was obviously,
Oh God.
What do you got?
I'm glad we'll never live that one down. That makes me happy, especially after his little thing he said about me last week. Well, had to get my lick back. Yes, Superman came out. It was amazing. It was so good. Overall theme of hope and humanity. Even if you are an alien or a furry, we're all the same. I think it's we had super fun. I think it's great. I love being here.
Joseph, help us close it out. Come on.
Yeah, got some busy weeks coming up, but unfortunately, I looked at my calendar and I'm not going to be missing any canon during that time. I have a special event next weekend. I've got a business trip the week after that, and then I have Philadelphia Comic-Con and then Terrificon. But I looked at my scheduling and I'm pretty sure I'll still be able to all 4 of those weekends be here for the canon. So that is exciting. I got a lot of stuff going on, and that's probably going to lead to some pretty cool books, some pretty cool stories, and some other stuff. So stay tuned for that. Thank you all for being here. We're in a little bit of a lull between Superman and Fantastic Four. And
and Comic-Con too, with the news and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of in a ball of tension, just awaiting that next film. So, Superman definitely hit its mark. So I'm excited to see if Fantastic Four can replicate that, or even better, surpass that, and open up the doors for Marvel in the future. But thank you all for being here, of course, watching us on the Canon every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget, pick up your SlabX today, whether you collect slabs or not. Even if you are a never slabber, which is perfectly okay, you can use SlabDex for so many more things, including cockroach extermination, hair regrowth. It reverses genital withering, which is obviously a problem plaguing a lot of Americans right now. And even better than that, the best thing at all is you can drink it and it will hydrate you for a extended period of time, better than water. And that is because the unique formula, as we know, 99% pure gasoline. Unleaded.
Does SlabDex, can it bring an 8.5 to a 9.0 with using SlabDex?
Oh, no. It doesn't change the grades of your comics. It just makes
okay. All right.
Sorry, Dan.
I've heard it also helps with your furry costume, too. It helps grow the fur.
I'm about to make dinner, and this is just bad.
What you making?
So, salmon. I have a great salmon dinner. My wife loves it, so yeah, I'll be cooking away.
We love a good salmon.
It's good. Yeah. All right. Anyways, join us next week. We got a very special episode ahead of us. They're all special, we know. But very excited to have you on tonight. Very excited to see you next week. Everybody enjoy your summer. Be safe out there. And be good to yourself. Be good to others. Peace.
Hey,